All right, guys, what's going on? How's everyone doing today? We've been in a combat sports, total sports vacuum. It's crazy. At this point for me, it's all a blur. I have the World Cup on. We got the next game starting in about an hour. We had boxing for the whole weekend. We ended the weekend last night. The weekend. It's Tuesday. Yesterday, my Monday. It's Tuesday, June 16th, 10:15 a.m. here in Sydney, Australia. So that entire day yesterday was my Monday. It feels like I'm literally in a vacuum. We're juggling my career, working, coaching businesses, both online and in person, and then trying to tap in and stay connected with what's going on in the combat sports world. The World Cup is insane. Ooh, Saturday, this upcoming Saturday at 4 a.m. here in Sydney, we got Australia versus America in the World Cup. Man, I'm looking forward to that one. We got New Zealand versus the New Zealand game starts here in about 45 minutes. They're playing Iran. And so we have a lot to talk about. I want to discuss the UFC card, obviously. I want to discuss the entire weekend that just passed, wins and losses. Mate, this game that we play, if you're playing it along with me, this in real life betting on combat sports, it is literally a game of interest. It's like anything in life. A couple slips this way to the left, a couple slips this way to the right. It could have been the breaks just haven't been going our way. You know, the longer you're in it, you're gonna have these. It's gonna be like this. You know, but it's not all bad. It's not all bad. A couple split decisions here and there. 14 seconds on the over with the Bam Rodriguez fight, hitting the over 5.5. I felt Bomba won the late championship rounds. That would have been another ticket, the Bam ticket. And then who the hell predicted Ilya Topuria to get stopped against Justin? That UFC card was insane. So we're going to go over all of it. The one thing I'm getting better at is the transparency side of things. With that being said, we're going to go over our wins, our losses. I do want to mention, I know that, how do I say this? I do live streams every single day, okay? You know that. We talk about every single fight. I take your questions every single day. By the end of the week, you shouldn't have to wait to see where my ticket. You should know. I'm coming at this from a teacher. I'm coming at this from a coach, a coaching perspective. So when I don't place a ticket for Arturo Cardenas on the money line as my dog, because I didn't post it publicly, but I talked about it on my live streams the last 2 hours, the last 2.5 hours of streaming. So my last two streams, I was saying that, hey, this fight is right now, the odds are 50-50. If I wake up tomorrow, this is before they fought, Cardenas fought Jordan. I was like, if I wake up and Arturo is the underdog, I'm smashing it. I'm taking Arturo as the dog, but right now he's not the dog. I did do that, and you should know. You shouldn't. I shouldn't have to spoon feed you. I'm telling you that on the stream, and I'm getting messages like I didn't see that posted. Every bet I talk about, I'm not. You shouldn't expect me to post. And if you're on my channel, like in the Patreon or on YouTube, and you're only on the channel to trail my tickets, I don't want you here. I'm not being a dick. I'm not trying to grow a community of degenerate gamblers. That's not what I'm trying to do. My entire goal is to grow a community of combat sports fans. The gambling comes with that, okay? And I have no problem. Like, I'm 100% being real with you because you add no value to our community. I don't want anybody who's just paying the $6 a month on Patreon or YouTube just to see who I'm taking and then just to copy that. That's not why we're doing this. Join our community to become part of a sports community, a professional community in the Discord. Do your own research, add value. I understand some of you guys are new. It's just frustrating. I say it every week that we don't hit 8 tickets. I have to say the same thing, and that's the only thing I get frustrated about is all the time, energy, effort, passion I put into this when people deduce all of my effort into just my ticket. There are so many guys and JSB insiders in our Discord who put so much time and energy into showing their research. Part of the community is showing off what you know, linking up with like-minded individuals, not having to worry about trolls. That's what we're doing here. Also, we've saved thousands of dollars. We did the math the other day. We stream all the fights in the Discord. So if you're thinking that I'm paying $6 a month, $6 a month to just tail your tickets. Leave. I don't want you. I don't want you part of our community. If you're not adding value in one way, whether it's tapping into the live streams, asking who's going to wait until take Arturo Cardenas, and then, I got a message from another guy. It's like, why don't you post the tickets that you talk about on the live stream? I don't have time to watch this live stream. Well, that's not my problem. I do these live streams so I can help people who want to watch the live streams. So, if anything, the boys, some of these streams we've been averaging 70 and 80 people consistently. The boys who tap into all the live streams, that's the value they get. Why would I? Do you guys not understand how frustrating that is when somebody in the Patreon's like, well, I don't have time to watch your live streams. It'd be nice if every fight you talked about, you posted in the Discord or in the Patreon. I'm like, do you realize how insane that sounds? You realize how that's super offensive too to me. Oh, I gotta work, like, it's just, yeah. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna go over the weekend. All right, so all of you guys know, if you don't watch the UFC was at the White House for America's 250th birthday, Trump's 80th birthday. It was freaking amazing. It was absolutely amazing, the whole event. Everything from the walkout songs. They had the military band. I want the soundtrack to the walkout song. The walkout songs were exceptional. They were doing live band orchestra for the fighters' walkouts. Like Sean O'Malley's walkout song, the Lupe Fiasco Superstar sung live, that version, like all the walkouts, I was really impressed with the production. They definitely, what do they call that? The whole card was, or what do the young kids say? Aura maxing. So this is the White House. Normally at a UFC event, you have fighters who are walking out of the locker rooms. Imagine being a fighter, being introduced by Bruce, and you're walking out of the White House. Jesus. This is a view this is how it looked, aerial view. That's the White House in the background. We're gonna get into the misses right now. Okay, let's get into it. Jaya Pataya with the big fella. Look at this combo. We went 5 out of 7. R maxing right there. Sean O'Malley. All right, we'll get to that in a second. We hit our UFC triple moonshot, which I didn't post, didn't hit. The moonshot was looking good. I posted this in the Discord. The moonshot was looking good. The first 5 fights hit. But the last 2 didn't. The Ilya Topuria fight killed me. So I did take the O'Malley knockout. I took the Hogan knockout. I took the Rufy knockout. I took Bo Nickel versus Dawkins not to go the distance. And I took Diego versus Garcia to not go the distance. Those all hit. We get greedy, boys. We get greedy. God damn it. We got to stop getting greedy. This did, shout out to, yeah, man, this didn't hit. So some of the boys who pay a little extra cash, they have my mobile number. We took a beat. This ticket, everything hit except one. You guys know the story. Topuria really screwed us. We got Bud in the house with Trump, the big fella. This was absolutely crazy. Look at that. Insane. So yeah, so I picked, the first 5 fights, the whole MMA chat was everybody was like it was a done deal. This was the most deflating thing about how this card ended, is the first 5 the first 5 fights. I took Mean Garcia to beat Old Boy, but he lost. But I did Diego, but I did take Diego versus Garcia to end early. So that was a different ticket. The only face value fights I lost, I took Bo, I took Hokit, I took Sean, I took Gon, and I took Rufy. I missed Diego, and I don't know anybody who took Gaethje. I don't know anybody who took Gaethje and Gon. I didn't see one ticket who had Gaethje and Gon. So we're gonna get into this too. This isn't this. I'm gonna stay on as long as it takes me. We've been doing longer live streams. There's fights this week. Obviously, we have a UFC card. We have boxing fights, and then the fights will roll into early next week. There's a lot to talk about. We'll get into it. This is next Wednesday in Australia. All right, let's talk about these punk ass losses. Okay, so it can't all be rainbows and butterflies, baby. We got to talk about our L's, mate. Even though how bad it hurts, just so you know, your boy's going to talk about his losses. Antonio Vargas, Bam Rodriguez. I took the also. If you're new to the channel, if this is all looks like Latin to you, these are my tickets. Every ticket that I place money on, the ones that I give the JSP insiders, will always be plus money. So it's not like there's a risk in that. We're doubling our money, and sometimes we went. I super frustrated because it could have been 7 out of 10. Anyway, the last, we'll say 4 months out of the year, the first start of the year, January, February, March, April, all the little decisions were going our way. It was one of those, like this is what happens in betting. Bam Rodriguez, I took the over plus 102, over 5.5. It gets stopped 13 seconds before the over hit, so that got dusted. Ilia Topuria, the knockout looked like it was there in the second. He chooses to go to the ground. He chooses to grapple and wrestle, and we know how that fight ended. Gaethje ended up finishing him after the 4th round. He wasn't able to continue. Steve Garcia. Garcia was looking great on his feet until he wasn't. He ends up getting knocked out as well. He was up in that fight. It's just one of these things. The Bam Rodriguez over really hurt. That would have been our 5th win. Nobody saw Ilia Topuria losing, mate. I understand if he would have won on points, but that knockout, I saw that knockout being floated around a lot of social media. The double I did with Arturo Cardenas, the fight to go the distance, and Bomba Gonzalez to beat Perez. Look, mate, we watched that fight. I thought Bomba won the fight. I thought Bomba won the championship rounds. I gave Bomba 10, 11, and 12, and I scored it 7-5, and he lost a close split decision. And so that's another one that didn't go our way. It was competitive enough to where you're never going to hear me say robbery, but I feel like the decision we got with Albert Ramirez versus Lerone Richards, it did go our way, and we did win a ticket. So these things happen. I think they kind of even themselves out, but that's another ticket that could have went our way. The Wilkins Matthew on points, he ended up stopping Fat Cal late, I think in the end of the 8th. So, once again, one that didn't go our way. And then our long parlay got dusted with a draw. And then O'Shea Jones drew. And then Ortega. We watched that fight. I thought Ortega won that fight. I'm sorry. We were streaming multiple cards at the same time. That was the MVP card. This was our long parlay. Everything hit except, Ortega, they said she lost a split, which could have went our way. And then O'Shea Jones drew. And I thought she won that fight. It's just one of these weekends, shit just didn't go our way. It happens. This is our these are our wins. Our UFC triple hit Bo Nickel Hokit. And in hindsight, that was easy. Shit, nothing's easy in this game, boys. Nothing, because I know boys in our Discord, dude, you guys in our Discord were saying Hokit was going to win. People were saying Zahabi was going to beat O'Malley. So if you're winning out there, boys, don't ever take your wins for granted, and don't get too down on your losses. Try to stay even kill. I talk to you guys about this all the time. Be like a samurai. Samurais, the whole samurai lifestyle, never get too high, never get too low. You want to stay even kill, so when you're in battle, emotions don't become part of the narrative. That's our UFC triple we hit, all plus money. That is our short parlay. Chabot, Moreno Fendero, Boudouin, Auntie. I know a lot of you guys were picking Tortina to beat Auntie Turon, but Auntie Turon won, and then Joshua Pagan was the fifth leg. So that hit the Arturo Cardenas. Look when I placed that bet. So my tickets show you when I placed the bet. I said all week I wasn't comfortable with Cardenas as the favorite, and the fight started at 11:55. I got off my live stream at like 11:15, and then I placed that bet at 11:30. He was at plus money. If you would have watched the live stream, you'd have known I was taking Cardenas if we had him at plus money. And then this second one, I gave away just like I gave the Cardenas one on the same live stream. Pagan on points at $1.61, and then we hedged Bomba, and I broke this down. We hedged Bomba on the fight to go the distance, considering Perez nor Bomba were sort of knockout artists, and that one hit. So, I mean, a couple decisions our way, 6. We get the over 7. I mean, it could have been a very different weekend, but these are the games we play. All we can do is lick our wounds and move on. Be grateful, and let's talk about it. I'm going to start taking your questions. We're about 17 minutes in. We got this World Cup game starting shortly, and I'll pull up the odds in a second. Before we get into this, so there's a UFC card, there's a UK card, the Magnessi card, there is an American card. There's a lot of fights this week. We'll see. I don't know if we're getting all the odds yet, but just be patient. So right now, we're getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're getting 6 fights on 3 different cards. So just be patient. My odds tomorrow, the odds should be opening up tomorrow. Let's see what we'll look at the UFC in a second. I'm going to start taking your questions. It's going to take me 10 minutes to catch up to the chat. If you're still on here, just like this video, we got 48 in here. Sub Tony, I know we all lost on Gaethje in that 14 seconds of ban, but what a great card. The Shockers all brought me straight back to the PTSD of Caleb Plant loss. Oh, God, Armando Resentes. Mike from Melbourne. I agree. Mar the Prince, my guy. Leaning on JSP heavy for next week, midweek Oscar. Oh, yeah, we got Pero and Croc. Let's go. Justin Gaethje's a dog. That was insane. I agree 100. We knew he was a dog, though, man. We knew it. We knew it. We knew it. We knew it. There's a couple. I didn't break the fight down, but in the Discord and the MMA channel, I mean, there were guys who were like MMA guys in my channel who didn't know Gaethje was half Mexican, who didn't know Gaethje was a Division I wrestler. I watched Gaethje's whole career. His first fight when he came over from the World Series of Fighting, he was 17-0. He fights Michael Johnson in an all-out slugfest and went 2 rounds. Gaethje gets dropped and wobbled. Gaethje ended up finishing Johnson and does his sort of iconic back somersault off the octagon, which he does, and it became his thing. And dude, Justin Gaethje's a nightmare for anybody, but MMA, like boxing maths, sometimes work. MMA maths never work. When you look at guys who've knocked out Justin Gaethje cold, and then obviously the run that Topuria had been on, who he just got done knocking out cold, and then you see Gaethje beat the brakes off of Topuria. I'm going to talk about two of the biggest mistakes that Ilia Topuria made was in the first round. He didn't respect Justin. He was getting hit way too often with Justin's jab. He was getting hit way too often with that backhand, and he wasn't setting anything up on the way in. He wasn't showing him anything. The feints were working, but he wasn't throwing, and he was getting hit too often in the first round. Too much damage early, and then the second round when he had Justin hurt, he chose to grapple and wrestle and look for the finish. And I think it was like an adrenaline dump. He gassed himself out with the wrestling and grappling. And Justin Gaethje's a freaking animal, dude. This guy's a Division I wrestler, wrestled at Arizona State, prides himself on being a dog, prides himself on his endurance. And he outdogged him. Christos. What a wild week at MMA betting. Ain't for the week. It's why we love it, though, ain't it? I only cashed in Gone Money Line, boxing at Arturo Cardenas. That's a good ticket. Yeah, I stayed away from the Elias Terrazza fight, and you beat me on the Abraham Perez fight. Good call in the Gone fight. Yeah, see, Boss Christos is a JSB insider, and that's the thing, too. Even if you're a JSB insider and you're in our Discord, nobody is going to agree 100% of the time. So the trick is to, listen to our conversations, understand who's fighting, do your own little work, tap into your own intuition, and then make your own judgments. Because, I avoided the Gone fight up until fight night. I took Gone when the event started, but I had Arturo, and then I took Bomba instead of Perez, and I avoided the Terrazza fight. But good hit, mate. Look at that. That's piecing together a good ticket. Was that all on the same ticket? Felt Garcia was getting the better of Lopez, keeping it at a distance. Might have eventually broke him down, but going into a 5 I gave was 100%. And it looked like that Diego Lopez changing his tempo in the second round. Steve Garcia seemed troubled by that. Diego Lopez came out with a very evident output differential, and he almost made a decision. It looked like a psychological decision to F it, I'm gonna run into the fire. If I get stopped, I get stopped, but I'm gonna try to stop him, and that's exactly what he did. And Garcia didn't have it in him to stay composed. What a crazy sport. Crazy UFC weekend. Alex and Topuria get knocked out. What a crazy sport. What a fucking crazy. I went to bed last night exhausted from the week. I was like, what did I just watch? I said Garcia's chin has always been questionable. I want to see how he reacts when he gets touched. And Lopez touched it. Shut off. True. Patino. Only fight I got on my book is Lewis Crocker. That's next week, big fella. What fights you have on your book? We'll get to it in a second. The walkout music was amazing. I hated the bands, bro. They needed. No, man. I thought the bands were amazing. I'm an old head though, Rodrigo. Maybe are you a young buck? Alex Pereira. I think the older we get, we get simple. Rodrigo, you must, what are you, like 22? Alex Pereira Topuria. See, I look, I don't mean to offend anybody on this. I was saying this in the Discord, and I don't know how to explain this, but I've never the only time I've ever been heartbroken by a fighter losing was when Bernard Hopkins beat my friend Kelly. And then when Sergio beat him. Only because Kelly was like my childhood brother. But watching these guys, I was going for Gone. I liked seeing Pereira get stopped. And I'm glad Justin won, even though I lost money. I've never I would never say watching a fighter is heartbreaking to watch a loss. Unless they get horrifically injured, like Pritchard Colon. That's heartbreaking. Something drastic happens to their livelihood. That's heartbreaking. But seeing a guy just catching a beatdown, I'm here for it. I'm glad Pereira got knocked out. That Lopez fight and Sean O'Malley. Dude, Sean O'Malley's knockout was aura-farming, dude. Yeah, the White House, come on. Yeah, not betting Gone was a mistake. I didn't have Gaethje or Gone. I thought. Look, we talked about it on the live stream during our MMA live stream with Nick. I didn't show my action because I wasn't sure yet, and I had already placed 3 tickets for the JSB Insiders for UFC, and I didn't want to overdo it. But I did say, I was like, Cyril Gane's mobility. This dude's a super athlete. You could go watch the live. I was like, his movement, his athleticism is going to give Pereira problems. Did I see a stoppage on the cards? On my moonshot parlay, I actually took Gone by points. So that was the loss. Freaking losses, damn. McGanna, what's up, Johnny? Topuria Fish reminded me to go. Yes. Yeah, dude. But it just goes to show you, though, structurally, how much bigger Gaethje is than Topuria. Topuria, he's a natural 145er. Gaethje is a big 155er with heavy hands. Everybody says that. The thing he does is he hits really hard. That's crazy. Toporia's, yeah, Toporia's still like this is the how fickle fight fandom is. Topuria is still the same. Like he just got beat up against Gaethje. You know, bad game plan, bad execution, made some critical mistakes in his execution, but he's still the same technical guy. He's still a he didn't give up. People are like, oh, he quit, dude. He couldn't see. Like you saw the damage for any of the like. I know Patty's talking shit, rightfully so. Islam's talking shit, rightfully so. Sarukian's talking shit, rightfully so. Bud Crawford's talking shit, rightfully so. But like at the end of the day, if you want to call that quitting on your stool, I'll argue that. I don't consider that quitting on your stool. I consider that getting the brakes beaten off of you. He, he was like he couldn't see, probably orbital fractures, swelling on the brain. His hands were probably broken. His dude, like fucking. If you want to call that quitting on your stool, that's on you. All of them are called quit on his stool. Ilya Taporia did not quit on his stool. Don't undervalue Justin. Justin fucking is a dog. Beat the piss out of him. I think it's a bit different. I didn't mean that disrespect, Rodrigo. I'm still in shock. Yeah, the boys are the boys. The boys are gonna be the boys. JSB Insiders, we up. 36. I agree. MVP fights. Yeah. So I know a common question in the chat is always Johnny. You know, lately with the new boys joining the Discord. If you guys aren't in the Discord, the link is pinned. Couple bucks a month. Do all that good stuff. I hate talking about that. You talk about how much am I wagering, right? Depending on your bankroll, the long parlay with the MVP girl fights, quarter unit, always. The heaviest bet and where I am sort of taking pride in how we're growing this together is working on transparency on all levels. My biggest bet I lost. Like I took because I went heavy on Bam and the over. And then the long parlay was a quarter unit. A lot of my bets this weekend were quarter units. The only full unit bet I did was Bam in the over, and I lost. And my wins were all half units. So, you know, that the Bam not hitting the over hurt me, like stress wise, because I'm like, 13 seconds, dude. No matter if you hit the over, like whatever side of the fence you were on, you were stressed out. But the jubilation you got when he stopped him, like 40 seconds, 45 seconds into the sixth, had to be amazing. So for the boys who picked the under, good call. But can we even say good call? It's like we're freaking betting, dude. We're gambling. When it's that close, it's like flip the coin, bro. This is why, like, I don't really like the shit talking. I don't like the trolling, in our group, because it's like, bro, focus on the effort. If I disagree with, if I'm going back and forth with somebody and I'm disagreeing with him and we don't see eye to eye on an outcome, and he's showing me his film study and he's obviously hearing me talk my points all week, if it goes his way, I'm going to give him love. I'm going to say, good call on that one. And if it goes my way, I'm going to, what we always say, we up. But you're never in our Discord, you're never going to have to worry about people saying, you don't know shit about boxing. It never gets dirty like that. Because you never know, mate. Like, you never know. Like, some people thought Auntie Alif lost. I didn't think she lost. I thought she dominated and bullied the young girl. And Tortina will be better for that fight. I thought it was shocking that Tortina thought she was up. But some people thought, and so my boy Barium, shout out to Barium, who does amazing breakdowns. I say it every week. Even though she lost, I was like, bro, your breakdown analysis was pretty spot on. And you're like, how could somebody lose a bet and pick a fighter, and how could their analysis be spot on? Because it was, it went the distance. Some people thought she won. She was better than I thought she was. So I think it's important I think all of this is sort of in the same vein of never get too high on your wins, never get too low on your losses, and understand what you're doing it for. I was a kid and was sad when Cotto got. Oh, the Margarito Cotto stuff is crazy because it's impossible for us to not think that what Margarito did the first fight took a few years off of Cotto's career and probably his life. You know what I mean? Which sucks. Which sucks, but it's probably the truth. How about Luis Respo? You know, Luis. I think that it was either Luis Respo. He did the same thing in the early '80s with his hand wraps. Went to prison. I should have bet so much on Cardenas. He turned it up. Yeah, and Rodrigo, we were talking about this though. Like we were waiting on it on the live. I was hesitant, up until the morning of the fight. My only play was the fight to go the distance because like it was odd to me that the whole boxing community had forgotten that Jordan was a 6-1 dog, and that like I thought Arturo just didn't fight as bad. Arturo Cardenas is good, man. People like he's technical, he's solid, he's fast, good punch placement. He's very composed, and I feel Jordan's shortcoming in this fight was he he all fight week he was too emotional. His walkout, he was emotional. It was almost like he was celebrating just being there rather than having this sort of long-term perspective on being composed, put the hard hat on, let's go to work, and let's move on to the next fight. He seemed encapsulated in the moment a little bit too much. And, I know people didn't like what Cardenas was saying. He said something about his penis or something the night before when they were at the media, when they were talking their trash. But Arturo Cardenas, not all fighters are shit talkers. You can tell. Let's talk about these fights this week. I need to win. We will, PJ. PJ, my boy. PJ, you got a sneaky win. You said you lost, but then you posted and then you actually won. We'll get to the fights, man. We gotta catch up. Come on, mate. See, we gotta catch. We're out here catching up. How do you think the World Cup game will turn out? Which one, Rodrigo? The one we're about to watch? I feel like the main event was either scripted. I don't believe in this script. There's no way you could script combat sports, mate. Now, I take that back. There have been fighters who've taken dives before in boxing. When you watch a back and forth slugfest like Ilia Topuria and Gaethje, there's no way that's scripted. Hell nah. No way, dude. I gotta shout out my boy Fresh BX. Congrats, brother. The Knicks are up. Jalen Brunson is the GOAT. Cat is cat. Cat is. The Knicks got one, boys. The Knicks got one. Good for you, man. I remember how I felt when the Cavs got one, so I'm sure you're elated. Shout out to the Knickerbockers. They might win a couple. Who you got, Paro? I got Liam Paro. I got Liam. After much consideration. We got a whole week, though, until that fight is. It's in 8 days. So we got fights before that. We got Magnessi versus Garner. We got Oscar Cayazzo's fighting this weekend. There's a whole UFC card. I know some of the boys in the boxing chat don't even want to look at the UFC card because that shit was traumatizing last night. So millions of dollars were turned into Vegas with Gaethje winning. I didn't see. All the boys are like, oh, I had Gaethje. Nobody. Don't get it twisted. I didn't see any Gaethje tickets. I didn't see one ticket with Gaethje and Gane on it at the same time. So we got Iran and New Zealand up the Kiwis starting in 12 minutes. Smooth. I had to take with all the fights, not going the distance. That's the move. Yeah, so did I. But my first 5, the last 2, I chose a victim. Dumbass Ilya trying submissions out. Yes, his body punching is beautiful. Like for how much Ilya got beat up, man. His boxing for MMA boxing, when Ilya cooks, he's fun to watch, dude. When have you ever seen an MMA fighter invest to the body like Ilya in his hand speed and his punch placement? And how tough is Gaethje, dude? Eating just flush shots to the body. Oh God. Dude, when Ilya was cooking, dude, he's a joy to watch. people think you're crazy. Ilya Taporia will 100% be back. He'll probably win a belt again at 45 or 55, probably 45. Everybody has their ceiling, and I'm not even a Taporia guy. I said it in my Discord before the fight. I was like, my money was on Taporia, but I don't like his personality. I'm not a fan of him. I was like, my heart is with Gaethje, but my wallet's with Taporia. It's one of those few moments where I say that, and I should have flipped it. He definitely didn't quit though. Yeah, he was, dude. Topuria, up until that knee at the end of the fourth, Topuria won the fourth round. What were the scorecards going into the fifth if it would have went to the fifth? Because the announcers, Rogan and the boys were talking like it was 2-2. So people are like, oh, he just, dude, his body, he took so much damage. My lone parlay had Bam fight over 4. You should feel like bro, you should feel like a genius. Good hit, Jay Voorhees. Hey, Johnny, just be an insider. How to? Oh shit, Ezekiel, did you join on Patreon or YouTube? Ezekiel, send me an email, please. My email is on my YouTube channel, and it's just my name at iCloud.com, and I'll send you the link. But let me see, because I don't see you. Did you join on? I'm checking now. Did you join on YouTube? No, you must have joined on Patreon. All right, bro. If you join on Patreon, send me a message. If you join on YouTube, send me an email. The last rounds, he dominated. Probably Bomba, right? You got Pero because I remember. Yeah, I'm leaning Liam. You got Pero because I remember you were saying you didn't like the way he fought Pepo. Either way, Liam struggled with David Pepo's size and range. Lewis Crocker's not. Lewis Crocker isn't 6'1", is he? I'm not a Knicks fan though. Ah, you had me thinking you were a Knicks fan, brother. Yeah, this UFC card is questioning. Bro, and I'm a lifelong UFC head. Same. I got trauma right now. You, this is what like the thing I don't like the most. Obviously, nobody likes losing. There's something natural that occurs in us, especially bettors, gamblers, is when we think the hard work is done on our ticket and we've won before the ticket cashes. Like, and I know that's a deadly sin in gambling. Don't, you got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them. You never count your money while sitting at the table. We know this. But there's just been a handful of times in the last, we'll say 12 months, where that last fight is almost like, all right, we up. And then out of nowhere, like Armando Resendez beating Caleb Plant. I know that Mike from Melbourne brought that fight up earlier in the chat, but that was like, I lost thousands on that. Not that I bet thousands, but I had a parlay. So I have to rephrase that. It's not like I bet thousands on Caleb Plant because he was a 6-1 favorite, but I had a parlay that had a few sneaky, like it was like a 7-1 total, and the outcome would have been thousands. And Caleb Plant lost to Armando Resendez. That was one of them. And I had already counted that. I was like, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get that ticket to this. Like, and then it loses. And then last night, Taporia, the only one we needed on one of the tickets, and he loses. And it's like that preemptive victory, and then it doesn't happen, is almost like losing twice. So that's where and it's we know as bettors not to do that, but it's like our natural instinct to kind of be like, all right, we got this. And then when it doesn't work out, it's like, Jesus. Ilya only won the first. I thought he came out and won the fourth, mate. You think so? He came out after the third and looked good. Ezekiel. Okay, Ezekiel, could you DM go to Patreon right now and message me and I'll send you the link. Yeah, DM me on Patreon. I'll send you a link. Lewis Crocker. Yeah, Liam is a small 147. I just don't think Lewis Crocker is as good of a boxer as Liam Perro. Liam Perro should learn from that first fight. He should have put a little bit more weight on. He's a technical boxer, and he could. I like his backhand. I didn't. You're right. Give me. We have about 8 days. It's not my official pick. I mean, a lot of guys at 147 are going to be bigger than Paro. Hamzat, Taporia, and Alex Pereira losing. Wonder where they go next. Chimaev just got into a brawl in that RAF wrestling league against Connor's boy. So we know what he's doing. Ilya will recover and heal. Ilya's still young, man. We'll definitely. This is not the end of Ilya Taporia, dude. He'll definitely make some adjustments, dude. His shortcomings were tactical. His shortcomings were not skill. That's where it's frustrating as a bettor. That's where it's frustrating as if you're Ilya Taporia's camp. It's not like it's not like Justin Gaethje was the better athlete or Justin Gaethje was more technical or had more skills. Ilya Taporia is hands down the better athlete, hands down more skills. Combat sports are very tactical. Without the proper tactics, you expend too much energy early in a 5-round fight when you're underestimating your opponent and you have a big massive adrenaline dump because your heart rate spikes because you think you have your opponent hurt and you're going for the finish and you're expecting to celebrate, and he's just tough and you don't finish him and you got 15 more minutes to fight and then you're taking damage as well. It's a bit deflated. Like there's a lot of and then walking into the first round getting hit with all those jabs, taking all that punishment early when you didn't have to take that punishment. Like a lot of things that if they look back at that tape, they could do differently. I know it's early, but I like Cedeno plus money. A couple weeks. I really like that fight. I'm definitely gonna be doing a stats on live video. Yuri Cedeno, Jahai Tucker. I like that. He's a plus money. That's surprising. I thought Tucker would be the dog. Yuri Cedeno is a plus money. I'll pull it up. You watch Ilya's fight. He actually loses round 2. He gets a knockout, like what Max and Volk. Did you watch the fight against the black country bro? What's the kid from the UK called? The Black Country Brawler? Forget his name. Real tall, rangy striker. Yeah, he's not that much taller. Like David Popo is 6'1", guys. Lewis Crocker's only 5'9", and he's not as technical. He doesn't have as many skills as Liam Paro. I think Liam's listed at what, 5'8"? 5'8.5". Yeah, they're about the same size. David Popo was a guy who fought at 160, coming down to 47, and Liam was a guy who was coming up from 40, fighting at 47, I think, for the first time. So that 7-pound jump kind of bothered him. And Popo's sort of craftiness, dude. He had what, 30 pro fights? I think Liam should have taken a lot from that fight. I mean, there's an argument that he lost that fight. There's an argument that he was in worse shape than Popo was. He got touched up in that fight. But Liam Pearl is a guy who lives in the gym. He's put the work in. I guarantee it. I think he outclasses Lewis Crocker. So let's see what those odds are. Yeah, Paro on points +4. I like that. I like Paro on points, but Paro at 71% is already nice. I would take Paro at 71% return, pair him up with something sneaky, give you a little plus money double. We out here eating. So I'm down with that. He's fighting at home in Brisbane. I don't see Crocker having enough pedigree. I don't see Crocker having enough seasoning to beat Lampero. I think David Poppo would beat Crocker. David Poppo impressed me, mate. I was impressed with how crafty he was, considering he had all those fights with like 3 knockouts. Jai Herbert, the Black Country Banger. He had him. Dude, Jai Herbert had him in real trouble. Lewis seems taller than listed. Patty and Crocker both listed out 5'9", but Crocker seems a bit tall. We'll see during the face. We haven't seen them faced off yet. Yeah, Horiguchi versus Manel Kopp. I saw it. Christos. I was looking at it last night. Right after Gaethje does his backflip off the octagon, I went straight to my account and was like, "Who's up next week?" I was like, "Oh shit, Horiguchi versus Manel Kopp. That's a good fight." Manel Starboy is fighting, and I think Starboy is a slight favorite. Is this Chris Eubank or Harlem Eubank? If it's Harlem Eubank, I got Poppo. I didn't know this fight was going down. Okay. I got David Poppo in this. We got time. We have a lot of boxing. We have a month of boxing before this happens. Errol Spence is a favorite against him. Guys, if stats mean anything to you, if patterns mean anything to you, here's a stat that maybe you knew or you didn't know. Tim Tszyu, Nikita Tszyu, Costa Tszyu, collectively on Australian soil is 51-0. Just saying. Errol Spence hasn't fought in over 1,000 days. Just saying. And Errol Spence is the favorite. Errol Spence has never fought at 154. It's crazy that he's I've been saying this for a few weeks now. We'll see. Harlem. It's Harlem. Poppo was plus money. Have we seen Harlem since the Catterall fight? Was it Catterall? Yeah, Harlem Eubank is just he's athletic, but I think Poppo is. Watch the only Poppo fight, if you guys haven't seen him fight, that I would watch is the Liam Paro fight. He really impressed me with his ring savviness, his craftiness. He was doing a lot of feinting. He was using the entire ring. He was long. He was giving Liam Paro a lot of fits. It was almost like Liam Paro didn't watch film on him. You know what I mean? It was like Liam Paro was like, he didn't train for him. Obviously, I don't know that for sure. Maybe David Poppo is just, a tricky guy to deal with. But Harlem Eubank's a very basic guy. Harlem Eubank is a guy who's an athlete first, a boxer second. So when you have a guy who's relying on his athleticism, who's going up against a guy who's like a crafty, savvy boxer, who's long and rangy, I think Poppo can make it look easy. Harlem is god-awful. Tell us how you really feel, Gil. Tito Mercado Burgos could be an over-under steal. When's that going down? Tito's my boy. Yeah, I'm not getting it on my books. Guys, if you're playing along the World Cup, New Zealand versus Iran is starting right now. Damn, dude. I'd love to go to one of these games. Jojo Diaz is fighting Ashton Silva. I'm not getting... Are we betting on that fight, boys? Jojo hasn't won a fight since the silent film era. Jojo hasn't won a fight, I think, in... No, maybe he has. I thought he was 0 for his last 9, but he might have got. I think no. Last time we saw, did JoJo fight after the Regis fight? Harlem fought Josh Wagner after Catterall. Okay. I didn't know Boots' fight was the day after his birthday. Bet your house on him. To anybody who reads this, yeah. What if I told you I already have my bet in? Do you like Boots on points, or do you like Boots by stoppage? Oh, this looks like it's already going to be a high scoring game a minute in. These there's already two. There's already that's the first shot on goal. These boys are playing crazy. Is New Zealand wearing the All Blacks? Yeah. Shout out to the All Blacks rugby royalty. We might as well have a look, boys. Right? Tomorrow I'll wake up and we'll have all the odds for the fights this weekend, and we'll be able to get this bad taste out of our mouth. The boys will be back, jumping and celebrating. Okay, Ezekiel, if you're still here, I see you. Ezekiel, I just sent you nice. Appreciate you, bro. I just sent you the link, kid. Let me know if you have any questions once you're in the Discord. I just sent you the link. All right, what were we doing? Xander Ennis. It's hard for me to see. I like Jerron in this fight, guys. I do like Jerron in this fight. I think for how much respect everyone has for Xander, I might go Jerron on points. Plus 280. Plus 280 seems like the play to me. What do you guys think? You think Jerron's going to stop Xander? You're in, brother. Check it. Has there ever been a big upset on No Limit? Like, No Limit A sides, baby. We got the No Limit A side. No, because Sky Nicholson, that was a matchroom card. Sky Nicholson was a 6-1 favorite against Tiara Brown when she fought at home in the Gold Coast maybe 2 years ago. But that was a matchroom card. Sky didn't fight with No Limit, and Sky lost a close decision. I was shocked. I was like, "Damn, they gave that to Tiara Brown." I thought Sky won that fight. I'm trying to think. There's been a few domestic, so not with somebody traveling overseas. I don't think so. Not that I could think of. We're gonna eat with the No Limit card. Those Aussie No Limit cards, we're gonna eat. Just like we've been the Eye of the Tiger cards. Didn't learn from his senior. Canada for a game, eh? Is that where they're playing? Is that where this is at? FIFA World Cup, Mick Ultra. No, this is Los Angeles. No bookie has a line for it. Xander or Boots by points or by knockout. Let me know. I'll probably decide knockout decision by the end of the week or early next week. I already put my bet in. Whenever I post my bet, you guys will see the date. I placed my bet on Xander for his Boots. I'll show you when. I haven't posted it publicly because I don't want to get people salty about odds. But I posted mine on June 7th. So I posted mine almost 10 days ago. My Boots versus Xander pick. I just haven't publicized it yet. My man, Ezekiel in the house was crack-a-lacking. I don't think Jerron stops Xander. I'm kind of leaning on that too. Oh, PJ, hot take. PJ, hot take. Nah, Thurman wasn't the favorite. Thurman wasn't the underdog though. They were doing that to and Jarvis was food. So that's already the third shot on goal. Iran is looking really aggressive. Iran. Yeah, you can't count Thurman and Jarvis. It would be like I think what you're asking is if going into fight night next Wednesday, even if Lewis Crocker is a slight underdog and the fight goes to distance, would they favor Crocker? No. No way. In Liam's hometown, he's vying to become a two-division world champion. No limits backing him. There's no way. Lewis Crocker is going to have to stop Liam Peril. That's on facts. That's on facts. So if you think Lewis Crocker is going to win, might as well play the knockout. I don't think he's going to win. I like Liam Peril right now at 70. I think what, 71%? And then probably Peril on points. He is a smaller guy coming up to 147, not really known for his one-punch power. He has good punch placement, though, and he's accurate, and I love his backhand. Oh, handball. Oh! New Zealand scores, goes up 1-0. Wow, that looked like it was a handball, though. New Zealand, 5-1 dog, goes up 1-0 against Iran. This is going to be a shootout. The World Cup is out here insane. All right, let's see what okay, as of right now, Taylor Bevan versus Lewicki. Nope. Gurill versus Dillon. Nope. Brad Pauls versus Goldsmith. Nope. Edmondson versus Lyndon Arthur, though. We've covered both guys on the channel. We're gonna have to get into it. Is Lewis Edmondson live against Lyndon Arthur? Give me a couple days. Ryan Garner, he's all right. Ryan Garner got some craftiness to him. He's sharp. I like Garner. I've won money on Garner before. And Oscar Caiazzo is a 10-1 favorite. Let's see if we got any props. Not yet. Just be patient, boys. I'll see you guys soon. We'll see you tomorrow. Appreciate everybody.